But increasing the volume of sexual abuse and rape cases that reach court is a real government priority. And there's a lot of work being done on this, but we're also very aware that there's a lot more that's still to be done. And I've had a really important morning here today at the CPS, London North and South, hearing about the work that they've been doing to make sure that we drive up the number of cases that are reaching court. So can we start just by telling us just a little bit about the challenges there are in London and how you've been addressing them?
So we've worked really hard with the police to improve and build strong investigations from the outset. We're encouraging early advice between investigators and prosecutors so that we can get in with cases early and help build them from the start. We're also really trying to reduce the time between report to a charging decision, so making decisions more quickly by reviewing our prosecutions and making sure that we are setting reasonable lines of inquiry.
Well, clearly the relationship with the police is important. What have you been doing to work closely with the police?
I think it's fair to say our relationship with the police has never been so good. We have worked very closely with the commanders, the lead responsible officers, the superintendents, and then right down through the ranks, including with our lawyers, to rebuild that relationship. And we've used the vehicle of Operation Satyria and Bluestone to really drive that working together, that partnership, so that we're each other's critical friends. We're able to check and challenge and support each other with training and with looking at cases, so that we can really drive up our performance on both sides for justice as a whole and for our victims.
Well, you rightly mentioned victims, of course, and they are central to this process for all of us, and we're acutely aware that for these awful crimes, the trauma that they suffer can stay with them throughout life. Well, what's happening to help with trauma and the ongoing engagement?
So we have rolled out training to all of our prosecutors and indeed investigators in terms of having a trauma-informed approach to the way in which we review our evidence. We've also improved the communication in terms of how we communicate with our victims, making sure that we're keeping them updated with developments in their cases. We're also much better at communicating some of the special measures that we can put in place which enable victims to give their best evidence at court. So that might include giving evidence which is pre-recorded or being able to be screened, for example, from an offender.
You're absolutely right. The communication is really key part of this process as we look to make sure that victims' cases are heard and we get the convictions for these awful cases. But what would your message to victims be?
I think we see and we know the devastating impact that these offences have upon all victims out there. The first thing I'd like to say is it's not your fault, and that we here have specialist prosecutors who understand the complexities and sensitivities of these serious offences and the myths and stereotypes that can surround them. So reach out, there's a lot of help out there, and I'd guide any victim to our own website that details how you can get support, and it will detail not only about reaching out to the police, but there are support services out there. There's an umbrella group of the Survivors UK, the Rape Crisis Centre and the Male Survivors Partnership. So if you are out there, talk to someone. It doesn't always have to go to the police, and it doesn't matter when these offences occurred, yesterday, 20, 30 years ago, but seek help.
Thank you guys for everything that you're doing, and that's the key message as part of Sexual Violence Awareness Week. You have a strong united team here who are working very hard across all parts of the investigation process, through investigation itself, through to prosecutions and through to the central support there. There's a very strong team here working to support you, so please do get in touch.